All right, everybody, welcome to Versus Live here. My name's Corey Baumeister, joined by
Ross Merriam.
Don't forget, we are sponsored by Carnox Chairs. Go ahead and go to carnox.com/SCG to get 10% off. All right, so we're back from SCG Dallas. We are unwinding, taking in the results, and seeing the decks that performed well, seeing the decks that maybe didn't perform as well, and kind of playing the interesting builds that we thought were pretty cool from the weekend.
I've created a shrine to Reclamation Sage to atone for my sins.
Nice.
So that's going well. The elves still like me. We're working past it and mending the relationship.
Did you have a therapy session after your top four mishap?
It was a group therapy session with me and Aladamri and I don't know what's another elf lord.
Insert elf lord to finish the joke.
Mr. Ravane. There we go.
Doubt. There we go. We can edit that part out, right, and just throw in your correct phrase there.
Yeah, we'll be fine.
Perfect. So what we're going to be doing today, we're going to be playing 6 decks that we picked that either did well or we thought were like really cool from Dallas. Pit them against each other and just really see what worked and maybe what didn't. And speaking of didn't work, Stoneforge Mystic did not make it to the top 8. What do you think of that?
You know, that's true. Did not make it to the top 8. So in that sense, a little bit disappointing. But also, there's so many different ways to go with Stoneforge Mystic. It's so flexible that within 4 days, it's really hard to figure that out.
That's true.
And there's a lot of people that were knocking on the door really close. 9th place, 10th place, 11th place, 12th place, all had Stoneforge Mystic.
Okay.
And Ali Warfield lost playing for top 8 with Selesnya Eldrazi, ended up falling down to 22nd because it was a big day 2.
Okay.
Yeah, so 5 decks that were very close to top 8ing all.
Minimum. There could have even been some more in the hunt there.
They were definitely there, and they're getting closer, and we're just trying to figure out the best builds. We got an interesting one from a little bit lower in the standings that we think has potential later on in the show.
Yeah, and I think that deck is insane, by the way.
Yeah. So, I don't think we've seen the last of Stoneforge Mystic. This wasn't sort of one and done. Oh, it's not that good.
Yeah.
Let's move on and get back to normal modern.
Well, I mean, because even that is kind of what we saw with even like Jace, right? Like Jace, right when it got unbanned, everyone's like, let's throw this in every single deck. And then everyone's just like, oh, this costs 4 mana. It's modern. People are dead on turn 4. But I don't think it's going to be the case with Stoneforge. Like you said, once people figure out the shell that is good for your proper meta or for your current metagame, then we're going to see these decks thrive. I think the problem with Stoneforge Mystic at the time is everyone was just throwing them into shells that was played before it was banned, like just throwing it into old decks and kind of making a little revisions here and there. But you got to build for what you're seeing and what you're playing against. And right now we didn't have a metagame because everything was new with Hogak and Faithless Looting getting banned along with Stoneforge Mystic getting unbanned. So now that people can see like results and what they have to build for, I think we're going to see Stoneforge go into the right shell.
Yeah, completely agree. Get a little bit more burn hate, be a little bit more prepared for the Urza decks that continue to do well.
Yeah.
So that targeted metagame is really going to help these Stoneforge Mystic decks. And I'm sure we will see them do well and crack into the top 8, pretty soon here.
And I mean, all it really took is Jerry getting enough time to, first of all, I just looked at his last article. I was like, I built 30 Stoneforge decks. Check it out. This took me for like 4 or 5 days. So not only did he just, spray and just see what Stoneforge Mystic decks are gonna like stick, but now I see his article where he's like, what decks beat Bant Stoneforge? Maybe that is kind of the final form, and
we'll see. We got a little bit of time before our next modern event on the SCG tour, so people have some time to get in the lab, do some testing and tune these lists up. And I expect we'll see some really good Stoneforge Mystic decks come out around then.
Yeah, get in the lab. I like that.
We are going to start with 2 non-Stoneforge Mystic decks, though. Yep. This is a matchup that occurred in the semifinals of the tournament with Dylan Donegan taking it down against Russell Lee. This is Burn against Grixis Shadow, a matchup that both of us think is really interesting and really close.
Yes.
On the surface, you think, Burn against a deck that wants to deal itself 10 points of damage, Burn should be great. But in reality, like, you can just slow play it from the Shadow side and make your Death Shadows really big really soon and just race them with Stubborn Denial and Temur Battle Rage. So there's a lot of maneuvering and sequencing that is really intricate on both sides of this matchup. So we really wanted to feature this one. And I think it's going to be a really fun one.
Yeah, and I want to say a couple things. It's like you can have the Death Shadow player, Grixis Death Shadow player slow play, like you said, but you can also have the Burn player slow playing where they're like, I don't want to do your work for you to get you low. Wait until I start dealing myself damage and then just bang, 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 bang. Like, so there's so many like mind games you have to play with this. And I also want to just touch on how awesome of a metagame call I think Burn really was. Like, you know, the Lotus Box boys put 3 out of all the 3 players that played Burn made the top 8. That's insane. You know, I mean, it seemed like a really good call for week 1, kind of modern when everything's being discovered. Just say, you know what, 1 mana, take 3.
Yeah, nice Stoneforge Mystics here and blaze it.
Exactly.
Okay,
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah.
You know, they came prepared. They had Smash to Smithereens to deal with Batter Skulls as well as the Urza deck.
Yep.
You know, did really well. Burn was definitely a great call. Not sure if it's going to continue to be that great of a call moving forward.
Of course.
But, you know, it only needs to be the great call for the one weekend you make the call.
Exactly. Yeah, no, I mean, Modern still and always kind of has been this self-correcting format. When one deck just starts acting up a little bit too much, then boom, okay, Core Firewalkers are in the grave or in the sideboard, and you know, you get all their kind of hate like that. We see it a lot with Dredge, right? Like Dredge will always just be like, oh, it's bad, it's bad, it's bad. Okay, it's insane right now, and then be like, it's terrible now with all the hate. So I think Burn will see in the same kind of little shift there.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah.
So we got Dan over here in the booth. Say
Dan,
absolutely nothing, Dan. Not a word. But he'll be taking your questions, comments,
Hey, no,
and concerns.
you give me time to actually respond.
Yeah, no, but you're just say nothing.
Dan, will you please say something? You know, I love hearing your voice. All right.
The French, I'm gonna.
Yeah. So make sure to tag at SCG Tour if you want some questions asked. I know we got spoilers coming. That's pretty exciting.
Yeah.
We got, you know, Dallas is done. Next week we got Indianapolis, another modern tournament as well. So a lot of stuff to talk about and a lot of questions we want to do some answering. So
Yeah, get at us. But right now we're going to just get into these games.
let's do it.
And for the first time in quite a while, the marbles are actually in play.
Yeah. I took them with me on my vacation. You know, I packed them in my suitcase.
I hope there's you have a slideshow prepared with all of the places that it went because you've been gone forever. I assume you've just been globetrotting.
Yeah.
You know.
Pretty much, yeah. I have a lot of pictures with me with the marbles, you know, like hanging out. My fiance is taking the picture. She wasn't pleased. I don't get why.
You know, sometimes, you know, there are priorities in a man's life that you just have to understand.
Exactly.
And in this case, the marbles are priority numero uno.
Well, okay, the marbles are like a sign of my love of farming you in Versus Live. Similar, you know, engagement ring is for showing love for your fiance. That's why I held that with me as long as I could. I'm like, oh God, Ross didn't even win a match this day.
They are in play. They are on your side.
Yes.
Which means I will be playing first.
All right.
Match 1.
So who was winning the last couple of weeks? Were you doing some dominating?
Emma got me on Tuesday, but I got Dylan on Thursday.
Nice. Stoneblade did not do well on that day either, huh?
Yeah, they were both 2-1s. Actually, Burn took it down for me in the last match.
All right.
Presaging its performance.
I like it.
I
like it.
A little bit of a risky hand here with only the 1 land, but we got enough 1-mana spells that I think it's a keep.
Okay, and on my side here, we have plenty of interaction early. We have some threats, couple land. This is kind of all you can really hope for from Grixis Death Shadow, so we're going to keep.
Yeah, and from the Burn side, usually the times you slow play are when you actually have land drops to make. You can build up this base of resources and then throw a flurry of burn spells at the opponent. Yeah. We don't have that luxury with this hand, so I'm just going to play Goblin Guide and get swinging.
And just get going. Yeah, no kidding. You can't really just sit back on one land and just say go.
Oof, do not like seeing that.
Well, I do.
When you're on the go plan, Death Shadow is the Punisher card. But you're at 18.
Yep. Okay, so, I mean, great draw here, adding a threat to our repertoire here. Now we have a slew of options here. I think no matter what, it's going to start with this. Going to 16. Now the question is what I want to do here. With it being so early in the game and the fact that Burn is pretty redundant when it comes to threats and burn spells and stuff, I think I'm going to wait. If we take a peek at my hand, I think we're going to wait on... this for now and just pass it to you. Nothing suspect about this over here.
Yeah. Well, I am going to send in the clowns.
Steam Ben's coming in. All right. I don't think I necessarily want to take this, so we're just gonna fatal push that, get that out of there.
Okay.
Stay at 16.
I want to delay this Death Shadow, so I'm going to spend this turn with a Rift Bolt.
You want to delay it or suspend it? You want to delay it?
I would love to cast delay targeting Death Shadow. That would be nice.
That would be nice for one of us. All right. So now it's the question is how slow and steady do I want to go? Or if I want to just start going pedal to the metal, kind of trying to get Death Shadow out and hope it's enough. And I don't really like that plan right now. So we're just going to start by get a little more information about what I truly do want to do here. Okay.
Got a handful of gas.
Handful of absolute gasoline. So right here, creatures are important, but I don't know if I'm necessarily super afraid of them. I'm more afraid of just being able to just hit me with a lot of damage on Ross's end step and then untapping and going, spike, skewer me. So I think I'm going to try to break that up a bit and actually take Lava Spike here.
Okay.
And now do I want to do anything else? Probably.
I didn't play second land, so you shouldn't either.
Yeah, okay, that seems fair.
That's just solidarity.
We're playing for fairness here, right? I think we'll go like this. Take 2 down to 14, and we'll pass it to you. And it's me and Ross were playing a little to practice beforehand, and we were both talking like the game only goes like 3 to 4 or 5 turns or something, but every turn is just mind-racking, tenseness because you don't know how much damage you can take, how much damage you should allow yourself to go down to, and
let's play another Goblin Guy and get in.
Some zombie fish. We'll bolt this. I want to maintain my life total.
Fast turn.
All right, so now we're gonna get it going with you being a little low here. We're gonna go Death Shadow.
Yep.
I'm gonna go to 8.
It's not a good sign. Corey feels comfortable fetch shocking here. Probably means he's got at least one Stubborn Denial.
I think I'm gonna go like this.
Still can't Angler here. One short of that. Which is nice.
But we are going to cast a Death Shadow. All right, your turn.
Okay, hit our second land. That's an important part of this whole charade.
Definitely is.
And you're on 3 cards.
3 cards.
I will pass the turn.
Pass to me. Okay. So now I am going to... My hand is kind of forced here. So I have options. I can just play an Angler, or I can try to interact a little bit more, but it really depends on what's in Ross's hand. But that skewer is really bad on your end right now. That is not going to be doing you a lot of justice. So I think I can safely do this. Death Shadows are going to get a little bit bigger. I can at least have a turn 2 clock this way. And now I can take a peek. And now Ross is kind of forced to act here, where does he want to cast his best card, which is Boros Charm? Or does he want to let this happen and have me go into 6?
So the problem if I play into Stubborn Denial is that Corey can follow that up with Gourmet Angler because the Thoughtseize represents card 5. Stubborn Denial will be card 6. So I really don't want to play into a stub. I don't want to cast this Boros Charm. You're at 6.
I'm going to be going to 6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that'll make these 7s.
Yeah, and if you cast Boros Charm, you're dead on board, which is probably relevant.
So I don't want to cast a Lightning Bolt either, because that would also put me dead on board.
Yeah.
So let's show you the Lightning Bolt that's in my hand.
Okay. Lightning Bolt is the card I was most afraid of here. So I have to... So I think I only have one option, and that is to take the Lightning Bolt. And hope. All right, we're going to take the Lightning Bolt here, go to 6. Then I'll attack.
I go to 6 myself.
All right. And we will cast that Angler and then pass it to you.
Okay. And step Boros Charm you.
2.
Ooh.
I'm at 2.
So you're just holding the stub. Oh, I guess that makes sense. Yeah, you just let that resolve and stub whatever I draw.
That's the plan.
Yeah, bolt you.
I'm dead. I didn't have it.
Didn't have the stub. Okay.
Didn't have it. Yeah.
Wow.
Definitely needed it, but I was if it was anything other than Lightning Bolt, because I know you couldn't Boros Charm me there. You know, so I was like, if I thought sees you there, I'm going to go to 6. If you Boros Charm me, you're dead. So you can't do that. I was going to take Boros Charm, leave you with just Skewer. But the fact that you had Bolt, no matter what, I have to take Bolt because you just go Bolt Skewer on your turn.
It would also be awkward if it was Lava Spike, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Any 1 mana 3.
But it has to be one of those two, like Rift Bolt and whatever, and another Skewer are both perfectly fine.
Yeah. Or even like another Boros Charm would have been fine because you couldn't cast it. Then I take 1, and then you're still live for drawing a land.
Or Bolt.
Yeah,
or
I was just really hoping it wasn't Bolt or any 1 mana 3 damage thing, but yeah.
Yeah, really wanted another 2 mana spell. Though a 2 mana instant is still awkward. You were just hoping it was another Skewer, really.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, because if I don't Thought Seize you there, then you just go, Boros Charm, kill me anyways. So 6 and 8 were pretty much the same. I guess I had I could have not cracked fetched, took 2 to play the other Death Shadow in, but then my clock's not fast enough and you just get another turn. So it was close there without any actual interaction, any stubborn denial or something there. I think I was definitely, in trouble.
Yeah.
But so I felt like I had to go pedal to the metal. But I mean, that's what we see about this matchup is there's so many decision points pretty much the entire time. So we got time for one more game 1, I would imagine.
Yeah, plenty of time.
Perfect.
These games are interesting, but they're still condensed.
Yeah.
There's a lot of decision points that happen over the course of 4 or 5 turns.
Yeah. It's not like our Bant Soul Herder match versus 4-color Sahili, where we were on like turn 15 at the end of each time. That match was insane. We got any questions while we're firing these up?
We do.
All right.
So I'm going to lump a couple of them together. Because they both ask Ross about his Titan Shift list. So we're going to start off with...
your heavily tested Titan Shift list, right?
Yeah, your heavily tested Titan Shift.
I mean, it was heavily tested by Drake Sasser, so...
Yeah. So, Aaron,
yes.
Aaron Freer, 1212. Ross, how, if at all, would you change your list from Dallas Open?
The only change I know I want to make is just playing a Farseek over the Monvuli Acid Moss. Tron did not do particularly well, and I think you're favored anyway, and that card is just embarrassing in almost every other
Tron
matchup.
did do pretty bad, didn't it?
Yeah. I'm not sure if you want the full 4 Explorers, or if you maybe need another piece of interaction over an Explorer, maybe even a second Farseek, but I like the Explorers just because cantripping and making sure that you can find your key payoff cards is important.
Really important, yep.
Even if the card is sometimes awkward as a ramp spell.
Mm.
So, but the only change I know I want to make is that. So, I'm sure if I played it again, the sideboard would change by a bit, but it's hard for me to say exactly what. Maybe you need a little bit more against Urza, though I think that matchup is good. I just happened to lose it a couple times.
Yeah. And I mean, Urza is just a great deck, so I mean, losing there can kind of just happen with any deck.
Yeah, I went 2-2 in the matchup on the weekend, which is whatever.
Reasonable.
Yeah, if I go 3-1, I feel good.
Yeah.
So, maybe you want the 4th option to Bala to help against Burn, though. If you really wanted something against Burn, I think the 4th life gain card being Pulse of Marasa makes sense. As an instant, it's just a lot easier to finesse that through Skullcrack.
Yeah.
Where you pass the turn after ramping and they're end of turn, bolt you or whatever.
Sure.
6, get my fetch line back, you're dead.
And I mean, it works pretty well with even just Sakura, block sack and then end step pulse it or whatever, or.
Yeah, definitely. And then Pulse you can also bring in against heavy discard decks because it's just a threat in the late game. It's a really good top deck.
Yep.
If you wanted something like that, I don't know. Maybe
if you're into that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So the sideboard might change by a card or two, but not by much. It's pretty locked in. The cards are really good. Tireless Tracker, Collector, Refresh Sage are great tutor targets. But yeah, definitely a Farseek over the Asmos.
So Cryptic Reman will asks you. So you still like your Titan Shift deck, and given the opportunity in like another Modern event, you would play it again.
If I was playing Modern this weekend, yeah, I would run it back and play it again. If my next Modern event is like in 3 weeks, a lot of things can change in that time. So I'm not going to speculate that far into the future. But yeah, if I was playing this weekend in Indianapolis, which I'm not, Escape Shift would definitely be near the top of my list.
Yeah, I think it's a solid choice. A solid choice too. Yeah.
Yeah. Nobody else was in the top 16 with it, but there was a bunch in top 32, top 64.
And I mean, I'd like to see the percentages of people that actually played the deck. Yeah. I bet it was not heavily played.
It was actually I think the 4th most played deck.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Burn was number 1. I think Tron was number 2. I can't remember after that, but I think I was
Burn Urza. I know it was Burn
Urza, and then Tron Titan Shift. That makes sense.
Yeah, I just remember those were the top 2 decks because I was going to play Urza, and all the rest of the Lotus Block boys played Burn. So yeah. Okay, so we take yeah, right. If we get back to the game here, I'm going to be on the play. So this hand has some obvious problems here, but that is just the nature of Grixis Death Shadow. Sometimes you have half of the stuff you want, and you're looking to draw the other stuff, but you just can't mulligan this hand. So I'm going to keep.
I'll keep as well. Just a reasonable mix of stuff, which is all you can ask for out of this deck.
All right. I'm going to cycle. Street Wraith is pretty bad in this matchup.
It's first card that comes out.
Okay. Well, I suppose we are going to... I think we're probably going to play this one a little bit slower. I'll pass it to you here.
That's an interesting draw. You're at
18.
18. So I am going to suspend a Rift Bolt.
Okay.
Pass the turn.
All right, I'm going to go to 17.
Card is just too slow if I try to hold on to it.
Yeah.
Not sure if I don't think I would Lava Spike there if I had it, but I think I need to suspend the Rift Bolt. And
yep. And here, since, there's for sure a burn spell coming at my face, I'm going to try to just go a little slow and steady at this, not, automatically be taking 2 with my Water Grave, stuff like that. Okay. Now, so one card that would give me a serious problem is Eidolon right now. So I am going to Thoughtseize just to make sure that is not coming down. That card is a big pain. All right, we got Skewer, Blaze... Oh, very nice. Very nice. I see what you did there.
Foiled again.
Oh, man.
You go to 15.
Right, I'll go to 15. Yep. And then we'll go with a Delta and say go.
Okay, let's send this Rift Bolt upstairs.
All right. 12.
12.
And you want to play with your stuff revealed? I did not write it down. Perfect. Burn spells and fun.
Yeah. So 12, that fetch is probably just going to take 1. So that puts you to 11. This is 10 in my hand. So that's
things are going well.
That's pretty close.
Yeah, we definitely need to have a Death Shadow in play pretty soon to stop you from just going ham. Yeah, it's such a dance. It's such a dance. How pedal to the metal should you go from your end? How much can I go from my end? Should I mulligan every hand with a Street Wraith because it's just terrible?
You've got 3 cards in the graveyard.
Yep.
So fetch will be 4. And definitely Angler next turn. It's just a question of how best do I play around creature plus Stubborn Denial. There's not really a great way to do it, because I have to tap out for any 2-drop that I play for the Boros Charm, and that's just going to get stubbed naturally. And it's really hard to play my cheap spells one at a time because of this skewer. So I think I'm just going to play Sunbit Canyon and pass with this Boros Charm.
All right.
It's the skewer and the fact that I don't have a fetch land to sort of turn the Searing Blaze into a real instant. So I'm going to be forced to play a lot at sorcery speed here, which is not great.
Not the best, but I'll go to 11.
Yep.
So we're just going to be taking 1 here, not getting too fancy. Get some basic lands. I'm going to shortcut here.
Fetching again.
Sack again, yeah.
10.
10. Doing Ross's work for him. I think we're going to go like this. Yeah, I don't have a mountain anyways. Just want to get basics. I do not want to give you free damage here. All right. Then we found a threat. That was kind of a little bit of our problem here. Well, actually, I lied on that. 100% can do...
Cantripping.
Yeah, Thought Scour first. Thought Scour target myself. All right. Mill 2, draw. I will cast a Bauble. More than likely just gonna cycle this. We'll cast this. Would you like to respond at all?
No, you're gonna be able to stub the Spores Charm regardless.
All right, we'll go like that. We'll leave these two in the yard. Just because we could possibly get a Culligan's Command here. And maybe want to flashback, Thought Scour. You always want to just leave whatever may happen, or you may be able to take advantage of here.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll go Bauble, and then I'm going to just do this now, I think. We'll take a peek at your top. Okay. Pass 2.
Instead of Boris Charm you, I'll go to 19.
All right, I think... So I know what you're going to draw here. I could go to 6. It's pretty dangerous. Yeah, we'll Stubborn Denial that. I'll draw for my Bauble.
Yeah. And now...
It's a nice little draw there.
Yeah.
So we know all but one card here. We know about the Lightning Bolt. So Ross could take down Angler if he wants to.
Yeah, I'm thinking about doing that because I've got enough gas here, I think, to finish you off regardless, and the Canyon. So I'm going to play a land. I'm going to Searing Blaze. That's definitely happening.
Yep.
So that brings you to 7.
Yep.
And I think I'll just skewer this.
Okay.
So I'll take 1. I'm at 18.
18 to 7.
Pass the turn.
All right. Not bad. Not bad at all. All right. So we're going to go with a Bauble again. Target you. Okay.
You know about this lightning.
I know about a Lightning Bolt, and I can't do anything else. I'm really threat light right now, but that's so I'm going to draw here, but that is one of the biggest problems with Grixis Death Shadow just historically, is it's just somewhat of a flawed strategy just because you need kind of both halves of your deck. Otherwise, you're just not really running on both on all cylinders.
Yeah. So I am assuming there's removal in Corey's hand because he hasn't played threats or cantrips. So I'm not going to play this Goblin guy that he saw off the Bauble.
Yep.
But I am going to show him the last card in my hand, which is a Lava Spike.
Lava Spike, huh?
That'll bring you to 4.
Okay.
Pass the turn.
All right. End step. We are going to...
Snap a Thought Scour.
I think so. Snap Thought Scour. Give you the chance to bolt me.
Yeah, I will do that.
All right, I'm down to 1. Now we need a Death Shadow to try to do some backing up here. So mill 2, draw. What a draw. The crowd goes wild. All right, actually a great draw in the form of Blood Crypt too. All my Sacklands were dead. So this was actually pretty nice. So we're going to play a 12-12.
Yep.
All right, now we're going to get in there.
I go to 16.
16, so 12, 14. Oh, baby, you're dead. You're dead. Your turn. You're straight dead. You cannot win. Oh, no, you do have an out.
Eidolon.
No, just any other Goblin Guide hasty creature wins right now on the spot.
Yeah. It would have to be Goblin Guide because Swiss Sphere would... Oh, yeah, you're at 1.
Swiss, you have a 1, yep. Probably not the case.
Unfortunately, I drew Lava Spike.
I will stubborn denial that one.
Back-to-back, excellent draws on your side.
Not bad.
I think that's going to do me in.
Yeah. Well, I guess... No, you're technically not dead. 12, because you're only taking 14. I needed to kill that.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. All right. We got a game. I get a little zealous. All right. So we'll... Thought Scour myself. Oh, okay, now you're done. Stubborn Denial off the top was a pretty solid draw. So now we can...
Kill this with Cake Man, just attack with this.
Exactly, yep. We're going to kill that.
I guess you can rebuy Shadow.
Death Shadow, but I don't want to cast it, and then just, attack for
12.
11.
I go to 4.
12, yep. Your turn. Bolt into. So you need a bolt and then sack the cannon into gut shot. Found the line.
Yeah. I drew an Eidolon,
Okay.
but that doesn't do anything.
I'm gonna respond with this.
How do you just keep having so many thought scours?
I just keep drawing them off my graveyard. Yeah. All right. Well, I can't cast any cards.
Not have the fatal push when I held that Goblin Guide. I guess you would snap.
I had snap, so I was gonna snap block and then yeah.
And
We'll go attack with both.
Walk here.
You go to 2.
Yep.
All right. Then we'll play a Death Shadow. I think your out is like me accidentally tripping and putting the water drive into play untapped. All right, your turn.
You can't even put it untapped. You have to pay 2 life. You don't even have that.
all right.
That would be a game rule violation.
You can pay on Arena to end.
If you have 2 life.
Oh yeah. Okay. Gotcha. Yeah, that's true. Yep.
Can't even cast this Helix into that stub.
That was a great game. That was a great game. I absolutely needed the Death Shadow when I did. Like, my opening hand, I didn't want to give away too much information because these definitely dictate, that much information will affect the game. But, I had, Thoughtseize Bolt, Fatal Push, or maybe not Fatal Push, but I had like a bunch of 1-mana interactive spells. Street Wraith, Kolaghan's Command, a hand that you just can't mulligan, but it doesn't have a threat. So you really need to find a threat within the top, 10, 15 cards or whatever. Otherwise, you're just dead, So it's kind of a problem with this, but
you had the Stubborn, so if I don't kill the Angler, your stub ends up just trading for another one of my spells earlier.
Exactly.
And I think I'm dead earlier, but like maybe that Lava Spike top deck would have killed you if I didn't go for the Angler.
I think you made the right play. Like that's what I was hoping you wouldn't do at the time. That you wouldn't kill Angler and you would just go for my face and then I can actually back it up. But
I think it was right at the time.
Maybe in hindsight, but
I thought I was losing game 1 and winning game 2, and then they ended up being reversed.
Yeah. Well, that's why that's how interactive and just fun this matchup is. So
yeah. So we're going to take a short break here and get back to some more of this matchup and do some sideboarding and get to the post-board game. So don't go anywhere. And welcome back to sideboarding here with Burn against Grixis Shadow. On my side, the only card I really want is Path to Exile. Just a really clean answer to the few threats that that the Shadow deck presents, and I think keeping those threats off the battlefield is actually going to give me a ton of time, and also mitigate the effectiveness of Stubborn Denial. So in this case, I'm pretty conservative with the times I bring in Path Exile. I think I bring it in less often than most other Burn players, but here I think it's warranted. I think Searing Blaze is the worst card in the main deck because it doesn't really kill anything I care about, and it becomes just an awkward 2-mana card. So I want to get all these out of my deck, and I'm going to bring in 1 Deflecting Palm. There's 2 in the sideboard here. I think a lot of people would be tempted to bring in the second because you can like palm a Gurmag Angler or Death Shadow and get in a lot of damage with it. But doing that against a deck with Stubborn Denial, Thoughtseize, and Inquisition of Kozilek, and now Collective Brutality is just not a realistic thing.
Yeah. And like with Temur Battle Rage, sometimes you deflect the first strike, and then it's just like, okay, now the second strike is really coming in to slap you down.
And then just die anyway. Not a card I think is great, but I do think it's a little bit better than Searing Blaze because there is some upside there, you can try to like bait out all the counter spells and then maybe have the palm do something. But
and there's sometimes I have no choice. I have to go for it.
Exactly. So I'm only willing to bring in 1. If I had a better card, I would bring it in. I just really don't like. I do not like this card because it's just so it's such a high variance card. Like when it works, you feel great about it and it does something insane.
Yeah.
But in Burn, like you really need to raise the floor of your cards because as long as your cards just all do like 3 damage and make sure they get in that 3 damage, like you're gonna win.
Yeah.
And it's the times when they're able to trade with your Goblin Guide and not take any damage, and then when they're able to trade with your Burn spell or leave 1 dead in your hand for some reason, that's when you end up losing. And Deflecting Palm opens you up to that. You can't bring in too many of those cards. I'm already bringing in paths.
Yeah.
So just the 1 palm. I think if I had something like Exquisite Firecraft,
that'd be good.
To get through Stubborn Denial, I would have that in over this palm.
And I know they were even like considering, because this is Dylan Donegan's list, right? Like I know even in our group chat, they were considering playing playing that card over a couple like Corp Firewalkers or over Palm, just as a way to push through uncounterable damage and stuff, get those last few points.
Yeah.
I know they decided on this list, and they did great with it. So
their sideboards are all slightly different, actually. I think one of the three of them had one Firecraft in their board.
Okay,
I think Dylan's the only person that played 2 Palms. I'm not sure, but their sideboards were like, they were all playing like 73 of the same 75.
Nice. You got to have your own uniqueness, right? Yeah. And I mean, don't get me wrong, like being able to deflecting Paul like an Ulamog or whatever feels nice.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, there are matchups where this is good, like against Wormcoil Engine, where they don't have that kind of counterplay. Even against something like Infect, they have a couple counter spells, but not that many.
True.
This can do something, but in a matchup where your opponent has counter spells to discard, the situational cards become a bigger liability.
Yep, I agree with you. And yeah, if you had another path or something else, because Searing Blaze is just not great. Yep. So from my end, my sideboarding was pretty interesting just because I had so many cards that are horrifically bad in this matchup that I just wanted to take out even more cards than this. Like Thoughtseize is okay. Jace's Vryn's Prodigy is pretty bad, but had to leave that in because we don't really have another huge... I must have card. Maybe I could put in some more Abrade, but Abrade feels pretty bad.
Yeah. So red cards aren't great because they force you to be getting your shock lands and make your mana more painful.
Exactly.
You want to be more of a Dimir deck in this matchup so you can get basics.
Exactly. I mean, if you can sack a fetch land and get a tap Blood Crypt, something like that is completely fine. But getting back to what we took out, Street Wraith is terrible. Just a free shock to the face. We're like, here you go.
That's the first card out.
Yeah. And Dismember is another card where we have so much removal in the form of Fatal Push, Lightning Bolt, stuff like that, that we don't want to be paying 3 to hard cast it. And once again, if I'm taking 4 to kill your Goblin guy, that's kind of, not really working out great. Cards, that I love. Obviously, Collective Brutality has been one of the best cards against Burn historically in the last,
might be the single best
years.
one in Modern.
It really is. It's just insane. And then it was kind of just, what do I have left that I can also bring in? And these cards have text, so I decided to bring them in.
I think Liliana is going to be quite good if I take a slow plan and I'm trying to sit back, then Lily can really tear my hand apart.
Yeah.
Kolaghan's Command can do a little bit of the same. Can also rebuy a creature if you mill it over a Thought Scour.
Yeah.
Sometimes you'll see Burnless bring in Ensnaring Bridge, and this is a matchup where they could bring it in, so having the Kolaghan's Commands is like a hedge against that.
Yeah.
These lists do not have Ensnaring Bridge, but that's certainly a possibility that you should be on the lookout for.
Yeah. No, 100%. So just basically trying to have cards that play decently into the different gameplays that you can play against me. If you're going slow, cards like Liliana, Kolaghan's Command to strip your hand and stuff like that do get better. If you're going fast, obviously Liliana and Kolaghan's Command are 3-drop, so it's a little slow, but yeah.
I am going to be on the play here.
All right.
While we're shuffling, let's take a question if we got one, Dan.
Sure. Zwegier92 asks, when are we going to see a Dimir Mill deck?
Versus Live. It's been around in Modern for a little while now. It is not the worst, but not a great deck. I will say, as soon as I see it top 8 and open, we'll get it here.
Yeah.
So if you want to see Dimir Mill, get out to some open.
So it's unlikely, but that's when you're gonna least expect it.
The problem is there's always been these decks in Modern that rely on the graveyard or get severely helped out by cards going to the graveyard, like Phoenix and Dredge and stuff. Maybe now we're in a world where there's not as many of those floating around, so maybe it could come back. But I know I've played against Mill a few times, and I've either been playing Dredge or Phoenix, and I'm just like, okay, turn 2, bring back 3 Phoenixes. And
they do play main deck Crypt Incursion and Surgical Extraction in the deck. So they have some graveyard hate, but they have to start slow playing then to get it online and make sure they have the hate first.
Yeah.
And it gets really awkward.
So it gets super awkward. You're like, okay, I really want to mill you because that's how I kill you, but now I need to have answers to your graveyard because I milled you too much.
Yeah. It's like Burn versus Shadow.
Yeah, it really is. It's a perfect analysis there.
You should just let them do their dredging, dredge 20 cards, and then just mill them out.
Exactly. 3 archive traps. Your turn.
Perfect. We figured it out. We broke it. It's broken.
All right. How's your hand looking?
I got a solid one here. Good mix of lands and spells.
Yep, same here. This is an obvious keep. I'm content.
I will start on a Swift Spear and an attack for 1.
All right, 19.
You're up.
All right, so Swift Spear is obnoxious. Now it's once again a question of how aggressive do I want to be here. And I think this hand, especially with having a 1-drop here, is just going to make me play spells. Plain and simple here. So I think that is what we're going to start with. We're going to go with a sack down to... God, this is tough.
It's definitely down to 18.
It's definitely down to 18. You're all right. Yeah, we're gonna go really down on this one.
So it's going to
Actually, let's
fetch for swamp.
Yeah, let's just get a basic swamp here.
Okay, so that's going to bring you to 16 after the Thoughtseizes.
16, yep.
And I got a pretty reasonable hand against the Thoughtseize. We got just a bunch of creatures.
Ooh, that is a good one.
Skewer. I have multiple Eidolons, which is nice because that's the card I want to play next turn.
Yeah, I would like you to not play that next turn, so I'll take both. I will cranial
Cabal therapy.
or cabal therapy you. Yeah, I think I will still take one of them though,
Okay.
unfortunately. So I go to 16, and I'll pass to you.
So I could go Swift Spear Skewer this turn. That'll put you to 11, but that's even worse against Shadow. So I think I will just play the Eidolon. Get in for
Makes
another
sense.
1.
All right,
Gets you to
I am
15.
down to 15. Yep.
You can go.
All right. Okay, not a great draw on our part, but we are going to... We're going to play this. We're at 15. Interesting. We are going to sack this, getting a Steam Vent.
So
We're going to go to
that'll put you
12.
Play
Kind of
Thought
just need
Scour
the
targeting
mana.
me.
Yeah, yeah. All
Then
right.
cycle 4 Street Race.
Now this is interesting. So we're at
12.
We're at 12.
Cast 1 with nothing. Then Stubborn Denial it.
Now we're gonna go with a Death Shadow
Take
trigger.
2 from the Eidolon.
We're gonna go to 10. Then we're gonna pass it to you.
So that is now a 3/3 Shadow.
3/3. Yep.
Been really good at drawing these shadows.
I really have been. You know, it's kind of you've been really good at drawing these burn cards. It's like our deck's namesakes. We're good at drawing.
Crack fetch to 19.
Okay.
I will get another mountain.
Okay.
Let's cast a Swift Spear. I'll take 2 to 17.
17. We're both just all about
Cast an
killing
Eidolon.
ourselves.
Take 2. I go to 15.
Oh boy. So you go to 15. That's not great.
Want to respond to that one
I think I have to.
with a lightning bolt?
Yeah, I think I have to. I'll bolt the other
So you take 2,
Eidolon,
go to
yeah.
8,
8.
and I will pass the turn.
All right.
I probably wasn't supposed to play the Swift Spear, actually. Yeah, that was a mistake.
You think so?
Yeah, I think I should have played the Eidolon, which like forces you to bolt anyway, and then skewer you because you take 2 from the Eidolon. And that'll put you to 5 with me having the Eidolon on board.
I think you're probably pretty safe anyways. This is a pretty dangerous situation to be
I'm a
in.
little worried about Battle Rage. Like I'm at 15 now.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. All right, now if we look at our hand, we have plenty of options here, but I just don't know how many of them are great. Think we have to play this one pretty slow and steady. We're not at a low enough life total where we can just expect to win very aggressively here. Well, let's think. What if we go that? We go to 6. Then like a bolt off the top kills me. This is interesting because I kind of want to think about playing this. I could have Ross discard a card, get that skewer out of there. Then I go to 6. And then I go to 5. And then anything off the top would kill me, so that's probably not great. Think we just have to say go. Definitely not ideal.
There was that draw. So, do we play into a stubborn denial? I think we do. Screw you, I go to 13.
You go to 13, and do I want to take 3? So I could go to 5, or I could stubborn denial and go to 6. Then you couldn't really attack. It'd be a dangerous attack anyways. Yeah, we'll stubborn denial that.
Okay, you go to 6.
Yep.
Pass the turn.
I think we'll go to 5.
It's a dangerous fetch.
Yep, it really is. But we need the land. All right. Now we really are just kind of looking for that battle rage. Battle rage is really what we need here. All right.
I was fully expecting just the peel flip over.
Yeah. That's how it should have been.
Is this good?
High score. Yes. Did I break it? Okay, so we're at 5. Getting a little dangerous here. What if we attack? So you could just take it. And then look to just turn around and probably kill me. So I don't like that attack, believe it or not. I'll just pass to you. Usually don't want to be going draw go with burn, but
Let's play this fire islet.
Yep.
Send it away. Thank you, Horizon Lands.
It's supposed to be a mountain.
You can go.
All right. Don't think I can truly do much here. All right. That's probably okay. Well, I think I have to get something going here. This is tough. This is really tough. Do I want to attack? Seems a little dangerous. Death Shadow?
Take 2, go to 3.
Yep. I will... pass to you. It's going to be a really tough one to win from this side. I think I'm just at so low of a life that I'm just kind of choked out here.
You're up.
All right. I will play this. I'll attack.
So, so right now we have 3 to 13. If I decide to take this, you could potentially fetch, put yourself to 2 to try to put me to 2, and potentially lock us both under the Eidolon. But then you would be dead on board unless you had a Gurmag Angler, which I kind of think you have based on the way you were thinking on an earlier turn and you manipulated your graveyard. So I'm sort of expecting, but that Angler would have come down last turn, wouldn't it? But maybe you just didn't have it, you just drew it. So if you put us both to 2 and you play an Angler, then I'm just dead. But if you fetched 2 and I have any burn spell, you'd be just dead to any burn spell. Should be a risky line for you to take.
It's a complex one, that's for sure.
If you have Angler... I think I have to block. Because if I go to 3 and we just leave us both at 3 and play Angler and have like a stub. I guess stub would actually be bad for you because I have these, but I still, no, I think I have to block.
Okay. Your turn.
And I have to block because I have another Swift Spear.
Okay.
So I'll go to 11.
Okay.
And I will. So if I block, if I attack, let's attack with all my things.
All your things coming in. I will block here.
Okay, 4 damage. I will lightning helix you. Trigger. I take 2. Go to 9.
You go to 9.
Paralysis. So now I don't think there's a way for you to answer all of these.
I didn't have a chance. I didn't have a chance. Yeah.
I mean, I drew like lands and Swift Spheres for a while. I finally
you just top deck the bolt. Yeah. The bolt threw it away. You just needed any burn spell because no matter what.
Your hand was so bad against Eidolon, multiple snaps.
It was so bad. Liliana. Like, that's the whole point that I really needed Thoughtseize you to make sure you didn't have one.
Yeah.
And then you drew another one. I was able to kill one.
Drew a third.
And then you drew a third. Yeah, that was brutal. Yeah, that was an intense game. Because if I could have ever just, even Snap brought back a bolt and I was at a comfortable enough life to take down Eidolon, like, I think it would have been a pretty trivial game from my side. But just wasn't the case.
Even if you would have been able to snap bolt and then I drew the Eidolon even after that, then you're still fine because you have the 2/1 back. You can start attacking with a Death Shadow, and I'm down a Swift Spear.
And I think plain and simple, if I was on the play, I would have been able to do that because, when you go 2-drop, I get to go untap, snap, bolt it. After you take a couple damage with your haste Swift Spears or whatever, something like that. But those are great games. Those were absolutely great games. So what Burn takes it down 2-1 here, just about at perfect time. How do you feel it went? I feel it was pretty close to how I expected. I think a person on the play won every time, right?
Yeah, person on the play won every time. Every game felt close. Like your hand ended up being pretty bad there in that third game, but battle rage at any point.
Contextually, like
you did never see you never saw battle rage in 3 games, which was rough from your side. You drew a good amount of Death Shadows, which was favorable. This is a matchup that I think both if you were to talk to a Death Shadow player, they'd say they're favored, and you talk to a Burn player, they'd say they're favored. Which is a sure sign of a close matchup.
100%. And honestly, I think this is such a tough matchup that it's usually the better player that wins. So I don't know what kind of anomaly happened this time, but
I've been playing Modern Burn for quite a while.
So. All right, we'll give you some props. You played well. Do we got any questions before we head to a break to get our second match started?
We do.
All right.
So let's go to J16 Jorts. I assume that's how it goes. What is the best deck you saw at SEG Dallas? Oh my god, I can't talk. Besides Burn, and what deck do you think will emerge to the top?
I think I can start with this one. I have been a firm believer on one deck since Hogak was banned, and even a little bit before Hogak being banned. And it's Wurza. I think the deck's insane. Obviously, the inevitable champion just has a ton of practice with the deck and absolutely kills it with it. But I think the deck is just so well versed and it has so many tools to attack different matchups. Can tutor for a prison style deck. It can kill on turn 3. It just has so many angles that it can play, and it's such a hard deck to sideboard against and play against in general. So I think Wurza, either Grixis, 4-color, 5-color, whatever, some combination of Urza, Sword of the Meek, and Thopter Foundry in the same deck impresses me the most, and I just think it has the most upside to still be the best deck moving forward.
I completely agree with everything you said. Urza would have been Wurza is the deck that I would have picked as well. and for the exact same reason. It's so versatile, has so many different plans. And I'll say, like, I went 2-2 in the matchup playing Titan Shift, and the 2 matches to Harlan that I lost were matches where he
Did you
did
lose
things,
to him twice?
Yeah. He did things that I just was not aware the deck was capable of doing. And, I like left the matches being like, I have to start playing with this deck so I at least understand what I need to do to stop it.
100%.
Because it is so resilient to so many different things. Like you can play a graveyard hit against it, you can play Stony Silence effects against it, you can play artifact removal against it, and you can play ways to answer Urza. But like if you don't have the right things at the right time, and if you don't use them correctly, you just die on the spot. And sometimes you just like lose to this weird mid-range plan. It's a really impressive deck. It plays 2 incredibly powerful cards that are just a notch above even the other really good cards in Modern in Mox Opal and Urza, Lord High Artificer. So yeah, I'm a firm believer of that one as well, and that is a deck I'll be putting in some work with in the coming weeks, and you might see me pick that one up in Philly or some of the Modern tournaments I'll be playing in October.
Yeah, and I mean, even for me, I'm going to Indy this weekend, and I'm 100% playing Urza. It really reminds me a lot of like Grixis Death Shadow, where a lot of people would bring in like ley lines to stop like the Angler Snapcaster plan or Rest in Peace. Like you can attack that deck in a graveyard way. You can attack it by just trying to exile all their creatures, but you can win in different ways. I think Urza does it better because it's a little bit more resilient, and the artifact package is just insane. Plus, you add an extra element where you get to have Ensnaring Bridge. And sometimes just game 1 against like 40 or 50% of the field, it's just game. It's just game. You have it, if you just play a bridge and you don't have a hand and you're just top decking playing your cards, like they play on for 3 more turns and they're like, all right, I can't win, So I really like those decks that can do powerful things, even if it's with the graveyard, where graveyard hate is going to stop that powerful thing, but then it can still do other things to make it a powerful deck.
Yeah, so that versatility is just a hallmark of Magic in the last 5 years. Decks that are able to, subvert the common hate for them and instead win with a separate angle have been powerful consistently.
Even like Splinter Twin.
Yeah,
Splinter Twin was a prime example of that.
And especially decks in Standard doing their like little transformations. We've seen it in that
4-color Saheeli at one point.
Yep. So that it's an easy answer. Warza.
Yeah.
One more.
Harlan compared it to Twin during his winners interview. He felt indestructible.
Yeah. He played Darksteel Citadel?
I honestly don't remember. I was
indestructible.
I got you.
All right. We got to keep our director on the toes here,
All right. From Jay Baranowski, how do you guys feel about Storm?
Ooh.
So actually, the first deck I tested for Dallas, I played a league with it, and I've played several testing it for different tournaments over the last couple of years. So I have 30 to 40 matches of Storm under my belt. And every time I play it, I'm always very impressed by how resilient it is to the standard disruptions, counter spells, discard spells, things like that. But I'm always really disappointed with how inconsistent it is at actually just erasing people. Sometimes there are so many games I play with that deck where I just don't draw Gifts Ungiven in the top 15 cards of my library, and I just can't win.
Yeah.
And so my deck just does nothing.
Yeah.
Or they Thoughtseize my gift. Like sometimes they're like, if they sometimes they Thoughtseize the Gifts Ungiven and then you never find it. If they pressure you.
Yeah.
If they're not pressuring you, then the deck's super resilient. And I'm like, I won a game where my opponent had like Chalice on 1, Chalice on 2, Damping Sphere, all in game 1. And their Chalice on 1, they played on turn 1 with a Mox Opal. And I like somehow managed to like remand the Chalice on 2 while also gifting that turn, forcing them to not give me a remand. So instead I got the cards I wanted, showed them the remand in my hand, untapped and killed them. And like had exactly enough mana to like repeal the Damping Sphere and go off.
Yeah, it has a high ceiling.
Yeah. But like, I don't know, sometimes they just like kill your mana creature, like your Goblin Electro into your Brawl, then like you look at these Pyretic Rituals in your hand and they're just bad.
Yeah.
So like I always try to pick it up in meta games where I can like sometimes race people where those turn 3 kills are good. And I think I need to be starting to pick it up in meta games where people are playing a lot of Jund.
Yeah.
Because I keep beating those matchups, but I just like randomly lose to Tron where I'm just like, I don't have a turn 3 kill. They're like, okay, Carn you.
You got it.
So that's a deck that I have a complicated relationship with because I keep wanting it to be good, and I see Caleb Shearer, Paul Muller play the deck, have consistent success with it. So look, maybe they're doing something that I'm not doing.
Yeah.
But maybe I need to mulligan a little bit more aggressively. But it just doesn't seem explosive enough to take advantage of the non-interactive decks.
Yeah. The way I look at it is like the same with you. Of course it can lose to its fair game thing, which any deck kind of can. But I compare it to Urza because, that is like what I'm immersed in right now. That's the deck I love. And I'm like, okay, my deck can kill on turn 3. Their deck can kill on turn 3, but they have to jump through more hoops, I feel, than just having an Urza on turn 3, as well as when people bring in graveyard hates like Rest in Peace Ley Lines or whatever against Storm, like, that's probably going to shut down their combo. It's a lot harder to combo and just win the game in general. So you're a lot more reliant on having your graveyard as a viable zone. So in a comparison between these two combo decks that like to kill at the same speed, I just think Urza's better. But I'm always intrigued by Storm whenever it beats me. It's just like whenever it looks good, it looks insane. Yeah.
I do think Aria Flame is a really good alternate win condition.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
So maybe I need to be pressing more a little along that line. I do agree with you. The graveyard hate is surprisingly effective against Storm. That I'm also disappointed by.
But yeah, I like that. If they have a conditional way to win the game without the graveyard, perfect.
A lot of Storm decks are playing like 2 Aria on the sideboard.
Yeah. Okay, that's great. That's great.
So I wish it were better. That's my ruling on Storm.
Yeah. Okay, so great questions. Looks like we are going to get round 2 set up. I got what you called it, Rakdos Soup.
No, that's round 3.
That's round 3.
Excuse me. Deck is coming up next.
Oh, yes. Okay. I'm playing the boogeyman of the format, playing a little Urza action.
Yeah.
Up against?
I will be playing Orzhov Smallpox. This is Jacob Hagen's 9th place list. Really sweet looking deck. Hopefully can put up a fight against the winning list. And I think it can. We've got a lot of good disruption.
Too,
good answers to Urza. And some Stony Silences and Rest in Pieces on the sideboard. So it should be a good match. How long of a break do we need? 5 minutes. That's what the directors are telling us. And we will be back in that time. Don't go anywhere.